Hello, good morning, everyone. I hope you are now ready for the big day. The big day today is preparing your materials, your creative nonfiction, and turn it into something that people can enjoy. And by enjoying here, I mean they can read or they can listen to. So you will also create something that is listenable, something audible, something you can hear. And that's you can call it a podcast. But before I go too far there, I just have to remind you that we're not going to make it public unless you make it so. Okay. All right. Now, let me tell you that today there are two parts that you will have to cover. The first one is the peer revision. You have been working with a partner since last week, and today is the last day when you finalize the results of your work with your partner. And I will give you instructions for that, of course. It's a modified version of something that I gave you a couple of weeks ago when you revised your short stories. And the second thing that we will be covering today is turning your material, the peer revised work, into a podcast, something that people can listen to. Okay. And I will give you some practical examples of how to do that, or maybe just cues or clues on how to create the podcast well, adequately presentable. Okay. And let us go let us go now to what we need to do, and that's the, of course, the presentation. You know that this unit you have been writing a life story or a travel writing combined into one, and you have done we have so far done brainstorming, and then we also have done revising the order of the appearance of every element. And the third part was I gave you some instructions on how to break down the story into good paragraphs that is whole in each of them. And now we are going to prepare for the last time the material before you can present it to any audience. And for that, uh, we still have to keep these three elements before presenting our work. The first one is the attitude of doing a peer revision work. I will just review that briefly. And the second one will be the contents of your writing, which will be converted into a podcast. And the third one is the presentation of your writing. The attitude remains the same, pretty much. You need to, well, you do this in the spirit of helping and learning from each other. That's the first one. And the second one is it's time for you to listen to somebody about your work. Okay. You have been most probably working on your own. And now this is the time for you to listen to what somebody has to say about your work. And the third one is we write to be read. Okay. And your partner is the first person that will read your work, and if they give you comments, then it's good to hear. Okay, it's good to know what people think about our work. And yeah, this is just sometimes. Okay, we also write this to be recited. Okay, in Indonesia, it is not very common for us to recite our work if we are a writer. But in the US and the UK, at least the two countries that I know, people like to invite writers, and the writers are there not to give comments on their own work, but they recite the work uh, in front of the audience, and the audience can listen to the story and see how the writer would deliver the message to them. And now, this is the opportunity for you to do just that. What you write is something for people to read. and you need to prove it by reciting it. If it sounds good when you recite it, then that's what you need to do. That's the best quality of your work that you can get. Okay, so this is the additional attitude that I put in this second unit. And about the contents, there are some revisions from the last one because of the nature of the work. In the past, you worked on short stories, and plotting was a big part in it. And now there are certain other elements that I include over there. The first one is because it's a travel writing, you tell about a place, then you need to make sure that you present the place or you describe the place adequately. That's one thing, or the settings, we usually call it in literature. And the second thing that I also need to emphasize is what we discussed 2 weeks ago when you gave me your plot, sorry, your ideas. It's about the theme. Whether you have the theme or not is a major part here. A theme is something that can turn your personal experience into a universal experience that people can relate to. People don't have to be you to learn or to get the meaning out of your experience. And that's the theme, or the message, if you will. And the order of presentation is important here because we need to start the story with something exciting, not just it starts with this and then it goes to this and then it goes to this and so on. Sometimes we start with something shocking, and then we go back to we give a flashback, for example, later on, and then next we give some dialogues and so on and so forth. So the order of appearance of elements is important in your creative writing, creative nonfiction. And finally, this is something new. I want you to be able to summarize the entire story in just one sentence or two. Why so? Because it is important for you to, I would say, to to excite other people, to make people interested in reading your whole story. If you can summarize it in just one sentence or two, and the summary can capture the spirit or the good theme that your story has, then it will be a good way to attract people to read it, to read the entire story. Okay. Now we are talking about the economy of writing, the presentation of writing, not just the actual process of writing, but also how to make people read your work as well. So that's about the contents. And finally, about the delivery. This delivery is related to what we have prepared so far, related to making our work presentable and easier to read for others. But by easier here, I don't mean to simplify things, because sometimes you cannot simplify the topic of your work. So you need to keep it complex. But this one, the easy delivery is that no matter how difficult your subject is, or no matter how strange the place you describe is, if you can deliver it properly, then it will be easy for people to read and try to grasp what kind of place you want to describe. First one is related to the grammar, verb tense. You need to decide whether it will be presented in past tense or present tense. Last week, one of you pointed out for me that the two stories that you read from places, from the ones that I provided for you, they are written in present tense. So it looks like the person is reporting what uh, they see in front of them. You can do that for creative nonfiction to make it look more like um, direct reporting from the scene, right? It's okay. The key here is to be consistent in the use of verb tense. Second one is about the grammar, the good grammar for sentences, and this is the same thing that we did the last time we did peer revision. And this time we have to add something else, which is about the paragraphing. And last week I presented to you that a paragraph should be a unit of thought. And one paragraph consists of only two elements, which is the main part, main sentence, and supporting sentences or supporting sentence. In fiction, the length of a paragraph can be various. Sometimes you have to make it long, sometimes you can make it very short, or if you want to make it very dramatic, you can even make a one word paragraph if you need to. And each line of a dialogue needs to be presented in one paragraph. Please check on that as you revise your partner's work later on. And last one, please give a title to your story, make the title interesting, and there will be a template for you to present the title, the one sentence summary or two sentences summary, and also the entire text. Now, this is what you need to tell your friends, your partner, after you read their work. You might need only 10 minutes or 15 minutes to read your friend's work, but think about what you can tell to your friend, to your partner about your reading experience. Remember, the focus here is on the reading experience so that your partner, who is a writer, uh, knows that this is how their story affects other people. First of all, yeah, give your opinion, your feeling, what you felt when reading the article. That's important. Uh, Not article, it's creative nonfiction. It looks more like a short story or essay. Yeah, so you tell your partner what you felt during the reading. The second one is about the paragraphing. You, as a peer reviewer, also have the right to point out that this paragraphing doesn't seem to be in line with what I presented last week, for example. Or you can say the paragraphing doesn't seem to be impactful, or it seems to consist two different units of thought. So you need to break it down into two. Or you might add another paragraph for the purpose of shocking the audience, or adding a dramatic impact, or other ways of paragraphing. So please tell your partner about the paragraphing. And the last thing is that, because I mentioned to you that it needs to be recited, and you will record it, then you might also suggest your friend what kind of music will fit in as the background of uh, this recitation of your creative nonfiction. This is just a suggestion, okay? Your friend can opt to use it or can opt to not use it. But it's good to give a suggestion, because every story has its own soundtrack, supposedly, and not every story can be narrated using a lo-fi, for example. So that's the importance of providing a suggestion to your friends. All right, now the rubric for this one. This one, the rubric is a bit more complex because it contains several elements which are not totally the same as the one for the previous assignment. And the second thing is that because it also has a podcast element, which also requires an extra work. So there will be an additional arrangement for that. And the rubric contains theme-related elements such as the title, the brief description, and the general theme of the story. This one gives you 20% alone. And also settings, because it's a travel writing, we want you to provide settings as well. And for your hard work in describing the setting, you get 20%. Okay. And last but not least about the content is about the paragraphing and the order of appearance of events or topics in the story. It is important. And the paragraphing, how you break down the units of thoughts and how to present it in the right order is of importance. So that is also important. So it you can get 20% out of it. But since we all study language, and I emphasize that you need to keep certain grammar elements to be correct, to be precise, or at least to be accurate, then I also give you 10% for grammar and language alone, because it will not sound very good if you don't revise your work enough, right? And revision will help you take care of the uh, rudimentary elements of grammar. And for the audio recording, I give you 20%. And for this, what I will create is the clarity of the recording, whether each word can be heard perfectly, or whether there is no noise behind, or there is no people walk by, or some ice cream seller passing by. So this is important, and I will give you 20% of it. So together it will make it, how many percent now do we have? 20, 20, 20, 60, 60, 70, 70, 90. Oh, there's a problem there. Apparently there needs to be some revision on the rubric. Sorry, the audio recording is 30% alone. Okay, the good quality of your recording, the recitation, the clarity of your recitation, that is 30% alone. I will give 10% if you are more creative in presenting the topic, in presenting your story, such as by adding an intro, a bumper, or bumper intro, not bumper video, or you give a background music, or you add some music in certain parts where you can find dramatic events and so on. Basically, your creativity in presenting the story will earn you some points, some bonus points. If you don't do this part, that's fine. That's fine. I don't require you to do that at this point. So audio recording is supposed to be, let me fix this so that we don't have any problem in the future. Okay, 30%. Yeah. And we write to be read and recited. So this is what you will do after you read your partner's work. Uh, you reread your draft, and you apply the suggestions from your friend if you see them fit. And you also need to provide a title if you haven't, and use a template that I will give you to write your to present your short story. This time, please change the title of the file into your name, so that you don't change the entire thing, because how MS Teams works is quite strange. If you put a file up there on MS Teams, and you put another file of the same name, then the first file will be deleted and replaced by the second file. So I will want you to change the title of the file with your name. And recite and record the story using your phone is fine, using your PC is fine. If you know a voice editor or video editor, you can use them. And if you want something fancy but easy to use, you can find Anchor FM. Anchor FM is a website, it's a web-based application, or it's also an Android or Apple-based application as well, if you want to. This platform allows you to record your voice, and then to edit your voice, and also adding some elements like music, intro, or sound effects, and so on. They have a big collection of free royalty materials, of different genres, from jazz, funky jazz, silly jazz, to rock and so on, all instrumental because they are supposed to accompany you while you present your story. So you can play with Anchor FM if you want to. And again, it is just for additional point when it comes to using what sophisticated editing, but it's good for your creativity, right? And I guess that's all I have to say about this peer revision part. Hopefully, you can manage doing this, and you can come up with something. What is it? Presentable, nice to read for others, and gives some enlightenment for others to people can get your theme, your message, and eventually think about it. Or simply you can create something that entertain people. And with that, I, Wawan Eko Yulianto, would like to say bye and good luck and see you in the next episode of our creative writing class. Bye, everyone.